What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we're going to be taking a look at Evella. And Evella is a hero that I don't often play on the channel. It is a hero that I do often play because I think that Evella can do some sweet stuff, but basically every time I try, I just fall a little bit short, and then I'm like, well, I don't really want to showcase this game because I want to show you guys some sweet Evella gameplay. And I do think that this game is sweet, but I'm still going to try some things and fall a little bit short. It's very hard to make some of the synergies really come together on this hero, and I do think that that's actually really good perspective to have coming into this video. And if I do some future Evella videos, I'll probably add the same disclaimer that, like, hey, I tried the same strategy like 5 times and this was the first time that I really got it to work. And actually for this video specifically, I'm kind of going to abandon some of those ideas and just go for something a little bit safer, a little bit more traditional, while still playing somewhat into the power of the hero. I think that the main thing that we're grabbing from the power of Evella here, and the fact that we're currently at 40 doesn't really have anything to do with anything. I just tied multiple combats, but here we do get to kind of power spike. I get to pick up 2 evil animals, which obviously add some synergy with the hero power. All of your evil characters start with a bonus attack, but then also whenever one of your animals dies, all of your evil characters are going to grab another bonus attack. And we get to grab some pretty good evil characters for that purpose. Some support characters are really nice because those will be supporting your animals to start things off. And then once those animals die, then the support characters get to become neat characters in their own right. So that is pretty sweet, and picking up Kitty Cup Purse I think is also nice, gives you some additional econ to start the game with. And I thought some additional econ on top of that could even be cool, locking on to Prized Pig, though I think I just want to look for more evil characters. I think I want to try to grab as much power as I can. That way, if I can potentially find like a Wish Upon a Star or a Reckless Wager, we can win that down the line. I am, by the way, going to switch the position of my 2 support characters, so that way Kitty Cup Purse didn't die to Ring of Meteors, and I looked pretty smart there doing it, so that was nice. And then I'll pick up some more evil characters, so this is a pretty nice power spike. We do also see a For Glory, but unfortunately I already used that free roll, so not quite a free roll there. Big opportunity cost going to deny us a For Glory, but I do think that we are quite strong for this stage of the game, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to try to put as much, there's some like very minute optimization here that I put my both of my supports that are giving health onto my Bad Billy, so that way that potentially has enough health to survive a hit. And then I'm also making sure that Mummy and Kitty Cup Purse can both survive that Ring of Meteors and will continue to be strong in all of these fights. And that really is a lot of the strength of Evella. The fact that now I think we could say we're still at 40 health. Before, it maybe wasn't super impressive. We just tied some fights, not really using our hero power. Now it's actually looking impressive, and we are actually going to lose this fight as I talk about how impressive our board is. Our opponent's board was a little bit more impressive, but we're still doing pretty good. And then here's where things get a little bit wacky. One other way that I think you can use some of your impressive early game stats is to just pick up a Crystal Ball, and there is some additional synergy with Crystal Ball here. I haven't done this in a while, but one fun thing that you can do, of course, is use Crystal Ball plus ways to generate additional cash as ways to basically just get ahead here and basically use the gold from the Kitty Cup Purses as your hat, and could potentially even throw in a Prized Pig on top of that as well. And then here's where things go back a little bit more in the Evella direction. Corrupted Heartwood, which has some really, really cool synergies with Evella, turning all of your trees and animals evil. You can see it turned the Baby Root and the Prized Pig evil there, and that adds a lot of power to the board because then you've got more evil animals, which of course can die and grow themselves. Even something like Baby Bear gets very strong. I do believe we are going to look at that in a little bit. But the other thing that it does is it has 2 other main synergies that I really like, and that's Hippocampus and Polywoggle. And I do see the Hippocampus right here, but I think there's a little bit more synergies if we go in the Polywoggle direction. And I'm eyeing up that XP as something that would also be really, really good with a Polywoggle down the line. And another thing pretty good with XP would be Noble Steed. Now, we could go for Magic Runes just the same, but I do think that if we just try to level up, try to be as strong as we can on the current board, and then take this XP lead and find a Hercules, grab some tier 7 treasures, that could also be a really fun direction to take all of this. And the fact that we're picking up some XP means that we're going to find Aeon sooner, which then goes along with the crystal ball and could allow us to do some powerful things. So going to go for the Wish Upon a Star there. I think that that is pretty straightforward, and we'll see if we have enough stats to win this combat. Kitty Cuppers does not have enough stats to slay, but will we have enough stat? No, we weren't even close. So we are going to take some damage there. But now next turn we will still be on 5.0, and we'll be able to pick up that Aeon and start to do some other fun things with this game. Because of that, I mean, I do like a Spellweaver as well, but more XP is just pretty gravy to add to all of that. Now that is going to mean that we're kind of rushing through level 5, but yeah, just more XP here. Really the idea being that now, well, Polywoggle I guess was going to be active next turn regardless, but try to play to that Noble Steed. That can be a really, really powerful treasure if you can just hit level 6 before everybody else, and if you can hit level 6 before the rest of the lobby and find a Hercules, you can normally activate that Hercules super quick because everybody else is playing a lot smaller of characters. So that allows you to farm out a tier 7 treasure and is obviously super fun. So that's what we're going to be going for on this one. Not really doing too much with the Evella hero power. Like I said, we could have gone for the Hippocampus route. Hippocampus is pretty strong with Corrupted Heartwood because typically what Hippocampus lacks is attack. It's got a whole bunch of health, it just has trouble attacking into things. So it is a fun strategy, but I just haven't quite been able to make it work in a few other games, which is kind of why I shied away from it in this one, as well as having the crystal ball and wanting to find an Aeon as soon as possible. We find the Aeon here, it's already 5.2, so it is, not going to seem super great comparatively for that long. And then we also find the Polywoggle, and I have to go back just for a second. Oh, I skipped back way too much. Accidentally double clicked there. That one was me. That wasn't the mouse, but I am going to hook up that new mouse soon because I wanted to talk about, I lock on to the, let's go back one more time. Shouldn't have even skipped ahead because then I had to talk about skipping ahead. I'm locking on to Baba Yaga because Baba Yaga plus Aeon will make our spells cost 2 less. And I'm also locking on to Polywoggle, and I'm potentially locking on to a Time Flies. There's some pretty good synergies with Time Flies and Evella, especially when you have Corrupted Heartwood, that makes that kind of interesting. And this is pretty cool. Our pigs here are actually going to keep us strong enough to tie that fight. So definitely worth picking up the big pigs, and then we're going to try to pick up some more spells, pump up this Aeon, and see what we can do here. I still like the Polywoggle. Like I said, we can just backline it basically is the idea, and then as our other animals die, it will grow, and hopefully that will be enough for it to slay. It's a little bit awkward. It's not going to be that strong here, and after picking up some spells, I really don't have the cash to deal with Time Flies, so I'm not going to worry about that either. I do consider Croc Bait is a pretty good spell on Evella, though there's just nothing really to put it on right now. I guess I could put it on the pigs, same kind of thing. You put Croc on a pumpkin, kind of delays the pigs from popping open, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's definitely something to consider on the hero in general, just because it's an evil animal. So again, it'll have a bunch of stats itself, and then when it cracks open, and then the other reason that it's typically a good card on this hero or a good spell on this hero is because you can use it on Hippocampus and grab a whole bunch of stats from that. Now, I mentioned things just not working out on Evella. I feel like that is what we're going to see in this combat as Polywoggle gets attacked into and Aeon fails to slay. Yeah, that'll make you throw out that Gwen rage emote. But yeah, just awkward stuff there that I feel like always happens to me while I'm trying to play this hero. And here's where we actually wind up picking up the Spellweaver. We've got the Aeon, which didn't slay this turn, but it's just getting bigger and bigger. Then I also get to pick up Hercules, which is pretty nice. And we could potentially throw some additional attack onto Hercules here too, which, you know, I really want to grab this Aeon slaying, but if we can make this Hercules activate in 1 or 2 combats, grab a tier 7 treasure for that, that's also a really good sense of direction. And that is basically how I'm playing Evella. I've kind of touched on it a little bit, but instead of really trying to focus on the huge synergies that are available with this hero, I'm just trying to use the strength of it to pursue other strategies that aren't related at all. And unfortunately, this is what I found is the best way to play Evella. Not really caring about the hero too much beyond the early game, because these polywoggle shenanigans, they just don't work. You wind up getting Ring of Meteors, which I guess we did know about technically, should have known better on that one. And anything sweet that you try to do on this hero just doesn't work. Now, like I said, we are still going to do some sweet stuff. We don't kill Zelhua, which is unfortunate because they have a Holy Grail, but we get a tier 7 treasure our own. Not the most impressive tier 7 treasures for the current board that we're building, but we can make something work with it. I was definitely maybe looking more for Black Prism or for the Holy Grail ourselves. That would have been good, or World Tree. Just totally blanked on the World Tree's name. But World Tree is pretty good. I'm also thinking Mirror Mirror could be good. We could take Magic Sword plus 100 just to do some other stuff. You know what? I've got to talk about this for a second too. I got distracted by the treasures. I do not. That normally I would always shard my Hercules there, but because we've got the Noble Steed and because we have Crystal Ball, I want to keep rolling until I'm able to find an Evil Twin. And it really, really pays off for me as I'm able to Evil Twin this turn. And now we've got a 33 attack Hercules, which is just short of activating in 3 hits. Maybe should have put that in front of the Baba Yaga. Unfortunately, our Aeons, again, unable to slay. So pretty unfortunate stuff with that. However, we do have all of these things spawning, and Hercules keeps on getting attacked into here. Sporko isn't enough to take Aeon out. My pigs are attacking a bunch. Thought there was a chance there for a second. Aeon was actually going to be able to slay. Not quite, but it was very close. We will get that for glory, so that's nice, but our spells will cost the full amount of gold this turn. It was really, really close to getting some activations. I thought that was a really fun combat. I'll pick up another Spellweaver, and then I will cast some more spells. I do want to throw a little bit more attack on Hercules, and Burning Palm is absolutely perfect for that. Then I'm going to sell off that Polywoggle. I'm done with it. I'll also sell off the Lordy that we got for the 4 glory, just to cast a Fireball to finish some things up. But now at this point, we've brought the Aeons up to 48 and 38. That should be enough that we can potentially start slaying with those guys, and we've got another chance at some big treasures here. The main ones, like I said, are World Tree, Holy Grail, and Black Prism. Those are going to be the 3 that I'm looking for off of this Hercules, and all 3 of those could obviously be extremely sweet. Aeon is going to grab the Slay from our first Aeon. Don't think our second one does. Yeah, our second one misses, though does our third one. Actually, our third one could hit here, but that one attacks into the Hercules as well. But it is funny that multiple times our Aeon has like almost slayed in very interesting ways instead of the typical way. We actually have the stats there to take out the Potion Master, which is pretty incredible, and we get to grab a Black Prism. So I'll toss the Noble Steed for that, and now we've got Black Prism plus Crystal Ball. And while I do like the Croc spell, especially on Evella, like I said, if we take that, we lose our hat. We won't have Aeon slaying nearly as consistently, so I'm not going to go for that. Instead, I'm just going to see what other spells I can cast and make use of our Crystal Ball here. It would have been cool to pick up, we would have picked up 3 different tier 6 treasures from that, which certainly could have been powerful, but not going to be interested in that. Now, I was potentially interested in using Knighthood to upgrade my entire board. I thought that could have been cool, but I'm actually really happy with how all of this turned out. I'm going to Dream into Merlin while we are Ball Prisming So that's really sweet. And then I'm also going to pick up a Scion of the Storm next turn. And Scion of the Storm actually has some uses with Mirror Mirror, so that will be really nice for us as well. You can see our backline range characters are just absolutely massive, so that is going to give us the stats to win this combat. I don't think we grab a kill here, though. Yeah, we'll just be hitting them for 10. Down to 2. Looks like I didn't lock on to Scion of the Storm, or I imagined that. Either way, I'm going to go for a Mix-a-Wizzle here. That's going to create a bunch of stats, and this actually does give us a Scion of the Storm, and it gives us a Croc Bait. So I'm going to lock in the Croc on the Scion of the Storm. And at this point, I think we can toss the Black Prism in favor of a Pandora's Box, and we also grab another Tier 6 treasure. So Mimic Chest. Mimic Chest plus the Mirror Mirror is kind of interesting. It doesn't really work with Crocs, but yeah, just some interesting stuff here. And then I'm going to cap this turn off by picking up a Lightning Dragon. Lightning Dragon's good when you're playing a bunch of Crocs because they clear themselves, so you don't have to deal with them. Then I'm going to find another Croc spell. This will give us another Tier 6 treasure. I grab a Singing Sword to replace the Mirror Mirror, but it actually doesn't come through in time, so I'm not going to be able to use it here. And this is actually awkward. These Crocs have nothing inside of them, and we accidentally made 2 extras of them, so we lost units by playing that. A little bit silly, but we are still going to be quite powerful with our Scion of the Storm here, and I think that's going to be enough. Our second Croc will pop open. We got a Boom Hilda in there as a nice big ranged character, and we are able to take the fight. So now we've got a few interesting things here. Our Pandora's Box is going to double hatch into a Holy Grail, so that's cool. And then we'll also pick up that Wand of Weirding now at this point. I was thinking about taking the Singing Sword, but after some thoughts, I mean, just Wand of Weirding plus a relevant spell I think is pretty good. So I'm going to go for that instead. Pick up a Lightning Dragon again because it's like a good character that clears itself, so I don't have to worry about not having enough room for all of my Crocs, and I just actively didn't want the Mirror Mirror. Then of course I pick up the Scion of the Storm and kind of wish I had Mimic Chest Mirror Mirror again, but I also couldn't turn down a Scion of the Storm with all of these stats. So just going to pick that up, finish this game off with a Ride of the Valkyrie, and my opponent has a really, really strong board. This is the Zelhua that found their own Holy Grail, and they're looking pretty strong, but not quite going to be strong enough. My opponent's doing the math here without even knowing what's in my crocodiles. I think I got him, and once we reveal what is in these Crocs, we are indeed going to have enough stats to take my opponent down. So a really sweet one. Did we do Evella things? Not really sure, but we were strong because of Evella, and that allowed us to do some pretty crazy things, Evella things or not. So really fun one altogether. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.